River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody. Welcome this time to Niner Nuts. I'm Dan, and I definitely hit record this time. Eric's to my other side there. Eric, how we doing?
Better now that you're recording. Hey, at least I noticed like 5 minutes into the show instead of 50.
Yeah, no, only delayed my dinner by 5 minutes, luckily. Man, God, guys, we got a lot to talk about. Hopefully that's our only hiccup the rest of the way through this. My God, we had so much money news to talk about. We have more details on Brandon. We have a lot of details on Trent since Big Trent's finally coming back. But first off the bat, though, as we thought we were recording before, yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about Ricky here formally on the show over the weekend. I didn't call an emergency podcast, but we were following that all weekend, and I saw the news at my mom's place at first, and I thought, oh my God, like what the hell just happened? Like this is tragic. Like what happened? Like, am I going to see tomorrow morning that he just was killed? That we just had a player killed? But no, by the grace of God, he managed to survive this attempted robbery. For anyone that doesn't know the whole story, he was in Union Square. I believe it was Friday. Correct me if it was Thursday, but or maybe Saturday. Anyway, Saturday. He was in Union Square. Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. He was in Union Square in San Francisco, and this 17-year-old came up to him, and they got into an altercation over Ricky's Rolex, and Ricky was able to take him down, so to say, but not without both of them sustaining gunshot wounds. Ricky getting shot in the chest, and just somehow, just by the grace of God, as we keep saying, it didn't hit his ribs, it didn't hit his arteries, it didn't hit his lungs. It just in and out, right through the back, clean shot was what they were saying. And there's an incredible video of him with little assistance walking into the ambulance, just holding his chest, and I believe somebody was holding the wound on his back. And he was released from the hospital less than 24 hours later, and I think it was today or yesterday on Labor Day, he was in the facility chatting it up with everybody. And John Lynch today said that he's just going to be on NFI, and they think there's optimism that he'll play in the back half of the season, or I presume the back half of the season. And just, I don't know, whatever intervened from turning the story into a tragedy, and it's a miracle. And I just, we had to talk about this. Like, this is just unbelievable what happened. The fact that Ricky was able to defend himself and stop this guy from doing whatever God knows else he was going to try to do the rest of the day. But no, just he survived getting shot in the chest, dude. Like, this is just an incredible story, and I'm so thankful that, I mean, yeah, cool. Well, we may get to see him in the season, but like this dude's kind of on borrowed time now. Like you could argue it's just incredible. I'm really speechless seeing that this happened and that he's as okay as he is.
Yeah, it's one thing when you kind of just like read the news articles about it and you read the tweets about it and stuff, and then you're kind of like, oh, he got shot, and you don't really like put together like the visual of what that means. Like and you hear that he got shot, but he's, in like whatever it was, like critical but stable condition, or whatever, and you just kind of you think he must be fine or whatever, and then you see that visual of him that you were talking about where he's walking and he's got the wound compressed on his chest like this, and you see the enormity of the gunshot wound, and it's right there in his chest. And I mean, like, I know when I saw that, I was just like, I was just like dumbfounded. Like, how is this guy walking himself to the ambulance? Like, I couldn't believe that was occurring. Like, I would never be able to do that if that was me. I hurt myself getting out of bed in the morning, and I'm struggling for the rest of the day. So I mean, like, the fact that he took a gunshot wound to the chest and is still, albeit slowly, but still walking his own self to the ambulance to get himself onto the cart was just dumbfounding to me. And I was just so impressed by that he was able to do that. And then, to your point, Dan, like, he's gotten essentially a second lease on life, right? I mean, when you get shot at that close a range and in that particular area, I don't know. Never been in a gunfight, right? It's not my thing. I don't go out shooting the pistols off on the weekends or anything like that. But I don't. You're supposed to live from that. Like, I don't think that's what the intention is with that. That's not a shot just to wound you or to scare you off. I mean, that's a shot to finish you. In my opinion. So the fact that he's still with us, that's a miracle. And he's been blessed. And we were saying before when you weren't recording, but it's I don't know what his religious beliefs are, or don't know what his religious stance is, or whatever. And we're not a religious podcast by any means, but by golly, if I got shot in the chest like that and I lived to tell about it, I probably would be getting me some religion. That would probably bring me to Jesus, because there would have to be something looking down on me to make me feel that way, and to have me still walking on the earth. And then to your other point, the fact that, this happened on a Saturday, and then he's released on a Sunday, and then I don't remember. Well, yeah, it was just yesterday. So then yesterday he's back in the facility, in the weight room, and doing stuff with the team again. Like, I'm astounded. I mean, I just don't know what to say. I mean, what dedication, what grit, what determination by that kid. I mean, I would still just be in the fetal position somewhere, trying to shake things off. I mean, like, we're not even discussing the mental trauma of what he's gone through. We're just talking the physical trauma, right? But let's talk the mental trauma that he's have to have gone through in this entire situation. I mean, I don't think you get shot and you're just like, whatever. I mean, that's gotta stick with you. So, the fact that he seems to have just hopped back on the horse and gotten right back to it, obviously not gonna get on the field as he probably anticipated doing week one and was looking forward to doing. But the fact that he's just back with the team and doing stuff and participating is nothing short of amazing in my mind. So kids obviously tough. That's going to translate well to the football field when he gets out there. And I just can't wait to see him healthy and on the field, and so glad for him that things turned out the way that they did.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. If there's any motivation, any extra motivation you need after that, I mean, look at what I think Brian Robinson was his name, the Commanders running back, like, came in late into the season and still ran 800 yards after getting shot twice. Like, not saying that you need to get shot for motivation, but man, just incredible. This is just an incredible story. It's left me just speechless that this didn't end up being a tragedy. And yeah, it'll be awesome to see him play, but like, just thank God that hopefully in a month or so, then he's going to be healthy and cleared. Like, dude got shot. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm speechless. Yeah. And I don't have a smooth transition to the bigger bulk of this episode, but with that now spoken on, Ricky, we had a lot of other great news. Not that Ricky wasn't great news for his recovery, but we've had quite a bit of money news. I'm just pulling this up just for it because I said that we were going to talk about Brandon's contract. We don't have to go in super nerdy detail on it, but I wanted you all to see, and you to see as well. I know it got buried a little bit in the group chat, but this is now what Brandon is officially signed into. His contract incredibly backloaded at 2 years of $40+ million, and then we went ahead and for cap purposes, he already has this money pocketed, but we backloaded well over 20, almost $30 million into 2 void years. But when you look at this is worth it. This is worth what John does in these contract negotiations. The 5th year option was voided to become a $5 million cap hit, an almost $6 million cap hit. And then he costs us $11 million next year, and then $16 million in 26. And then that can be our out year. And then these void years, yeah, they'll count for cap, but he'll have the money because that's how those work if anyone doesn't know. But this is why I don't care that these holdouts last as long as they do, because John makes it work. He got his money, and we have our cap space. Totally worth it in the end.
Yeah. I mean, this is the game that the 49ers play. I mean, it's where they always try to get to. We sign people to these 4 and 5 year deals that are really 2 and 3 year deals. I mean, let's face it, in 2027, Aiyuk is, well, is he going to get 42 million? I sit here and I say that he's not going to get 42 million, but the way that the wide receiver market is going right now, it's possible that 42 million will actually be a realistic number for a wide receiver in 2027. So normally I would say that there's no chance in hell that he's going to get 42 million or 44 million, but there is a slight chance that he actually sees that money for once. Because I mean, like Jefferson's cap hit, I would have to pull up what Jefferson's cap hit is going to be in like 27 or 28. But like the way that the receiver market is going with these salaries and the average value is 30 some million. I mean, Chase is going to set the mark next year because he's still holding out like he thinks he's going to get a contract this year, which ain't going to happen. He's going to set the market next year at probably 35. Well, what was Jefferson this year? 33, 35? You're muted, Dan.
I'll pull up JJ's. Let's see. But keep in mind too, yeah, the AAVs are going up. Like those 2 years that we were just talking about with Brandon were the holdups. Like how much funny money can we add to the end of this to get the AAV?
See here, in 27 and 28, Justin Jefferson is getting 40 some million too. So I mean, I'd like to sit here and say that there's no way that he's going to see 40 some million in 27 and 28, but at this point in time, it's realistic that with the way these receiver contracts just keep going up and up and up, that might not be that outrageous of a number by the time we get to 27 and 28, to be honest. So maybe Aiyuk really will see that money at this point in time. But, to your point, they carved out a bunch of cap money now over the next couple of years, which is great. We've continued to shuffle around some other people's cap money. We just shuffled Debo's cap around. We just shuffled, I'm forgetting the defensive lineman that we just shuffled around today as well.
I'll pull that back up if we need it because Trent's details aren't up there yet. But yeah, Malik.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Collins, we shuffled his cap around. So if I'm not mistaken, and I think you posted it, the 49ers have the biggest cap right now in the NFL. And they're doing all of that so they can carry that over next year to sign Purdy, which is smart and brilliant at the same time. And obviously super necessary because they're going to want to try to retain as many people as they can next year. But they've also got to have a giant, enormous spot in which to put Purdy. Though I would assume that they're probably going to try to sign Purdy. I mean, it's got to be more than it'd probably be a 5-year deal, right? 5 years, 300 million, probably.
Yeah, that would be 60. Because the highest paid quarterback right now,
is it like 55, right?
I think so. Highest paid QB. If I could find the list, like Sportronaut. Is that what this website's called? Let's see. Jordan Love, 4 years, 220 million, with an average 55. So possibly we could get away with paying Purdy 58. Because Love and Burrow are tied at 55.
I mean, if Purdy puts up
so
another year like he did last year, he's going to get 60. There's no question about it. Because Dak
you
has
think
got to
we'll
sign
actually
yet,
jump
too.
all the way to 6? Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. And that's, oh man, that Dak situation's a hot mess. I watched Rich Eisen talk a little bit about that on Friday, but and they can't franchise tag him, they can't trade him without his permission, and somehow he costs them a dead cap hit of like $40 million if they don't extend him and get rid of that, which is hysterical. If he ends up walking and he still costs Dallas $40 million against their cap.
Yeah, that's awesome.
God, it's amazing. It's not even like it's dead money in the sense of like they had to put it on the books for one of his restructures, which is hysterical. Like,
Yeah.
but no, okay, so yeah, 60 is realistic to expect.
So, I mean, but they'll probably stagger that around like they do all this other stuff with a bunch of void years at the end and stuff like that. So Purdy's cap hits won't be 60 million
Two option
a year.
bonuses, a signing bonus.
Yeah, I mean, but Purdy's contract numbers will probably come in at well, I don't know, because these QB numbers come in at stupid numbers now, which I don't know how they make it happen. Like Jalen Hurts is making like 1 million this year or something dumb like that. But you know, I mean, they'll stagger his cap hit in some way, shape, or form. But you know, they're going to make it work. And I mean, this contract that Aiyuk signed, the move with Debo today, the move with Malik today, it just frees up more of that space and gives them all that flexibility. And the smart teams like the 49ers, the smart teams like, I mean, I hate to say smart teams, but smart teams like the Browns, and a couple other teams in the league, they're using the void years and the cap to their advantage because they just keep kicking the obligation down the road. But with the cap going up every year, you're just kind of playing, you know, like a game, right? So it's like an interest-free loan essentially, in that, you know, you're saying, oh, I'm just going to spend 5 million of my money now, but you know, next year the cap's going to go up 15 million, so I'm really not losing any money because I'm going to kick 10 million into that year anyways, and it'll just float off. And that's what everybody that is playing the cap game well seems to be doing. It seems to me that eventually that has to catch up to you at some point in time when you've just exceeded the amount that you can stuff into future cap years. But I don't know that we're there yet. We've got to be getting close, I would think. But
I can't. I wish I was that deep into the money room. I really do, because I am fascinated by this stuff. Like, but the main thing that I've noticed is that we are just assuming that the cap will just keep going up and up because of the YouTube deal, redoing the broadcasting deals, all the money that comes in from merchandising and all that. Like,
yeah,
the overall revenue of the league, we're just assuming it's going to keep going up and up and up. And so, yeah, like we gave this guy a $25 million signing bonus today. We spaced that out to $5 million, or a little over five, like $5.5 or $6 million over the next 4 years for bookkeeping purposes. But if it just keeps going up and up and up, the impact of that $5.5 million is like a little less, and then a little less, and then a little less, and it like everybody just plays with like, okay, we're gonna have dead money. It's mitigating how impactful that dead money is, and that's to your point, we've gotten very, very lucky that it hasn't bitten us in the ass yet. So credit to John Lynch and everybody in the bookkeeping team for making sure that doesn't happen or hasn't happened yet. But no, like the Saints have been in cap hell forever, and the Rams are kind of playing that same game we are, and they've been, I guess, as good at it as we are. But the Saints are like that level of like, yeah, this sucks. Or Miami. Miami just had to purge a bunch of people. So like Miami's another example of how to not manage money. But I pulled this up here because we don't have all the exact details yet. But what I can Is it still on Trent? Yeah. Okay. What I can say though is that with Trent, we do know that this 82.5 over 3 years, this basically was the money that was left already in the 3 years that he had left on the original contract. Just none of it was due, or none of it was guaranteed. So the way I understood the way it was talked about, we basically raised his salary. So again, this is not at all accurate based on how I originally read it. So maybe later in the week this will actually be updated, YouTube watchers. But we basically gave him a base salary raise to 27 million for this year, and we guaranteed 48 million, like it says there, of this 82 million. And then next year is essentially, not quite, but essentially guaranteed, and then we can cut him after or before 2026 starts. So it's basically on paper a 3-year deal, but in terms of guaranteed money, a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to. So yeah, he's the highest paid left tackle, but he's not the highest paid tackle. Like the right, there's 2 right tackles that make more money than him, but he is the highest paid left tackle.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked a lot about it, on this show, and what we would think was a reasonable contract for him, and what he should be paid, and all of that stuff. And um, I was very much on the fence with how much we should really sign him for and commit to, just because he's 36 years old and he hasn't played a full season for us for at least the last 3 seasons. And I just didn't want
None
to
of
put
this is new money. None of this is new
yeah,
money too.
yeah, and that was the biggest thing for me, was I didn't want to give him a bunch of new money, and I didn't want to guarantee really much more than I didn't really want to guarantee much more than this season and maybe like half of next season. They guaranteed 2 full seasons, so okay, fine. That's not that big a deal. That's a reasonable compromise in my mind. But you just don't want to, you just don't really want to be paying a 38-year-old left tackle. I mean, God bless him. He's the 7th best player according to the NFL's list or whatever. But, at some point in time, he's going to slow down and he's going to stop. And you just don't want to have $30 million committed to a 38-year-old left tackle that now is a screen door on that left side, and there's nothing that you can do with him. I mean, that's a bad situation to be in. So I just didn't want the 49ers to get kind of up over their shoulders on that, and they didn't in this situation, and that's good. So I mean, to your point that you made earlier, Dan, I mean, again, the 49ers played hardball and played tough all the way down to the wire, but again, it seems like they've made a deal that makes sense for the team, and ultimately gets Trent what he wants, which was some guaranteed money now, some guaranteed money for next year, and then in whatever that was to be 2026, they can decide if they want to do this dance some more or not.
2026 can be 26, to my understanding, is an opt-out year.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe Trent retires at that point in time. I mean, maybe, who's to say, right? I mean, we've talked a lot on the show about what the team is going to really look like next year as a whole, right? Because we're all pretty convinced that this year is the last year that this core is going to be together, just based on the way that the cap works and the way that everybody's contract is structured and just the logic feasibility of it all. So, if they really do go into a little bit of a rebuilding mode next year, well, Trent's got guaranteed money for next year, so he's definitely coming back, because we know Trent likes his money.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe after next year, he goes, you know what? I'm 38 years old. I've played in the league for whatever it is, 18 years now, 16 years, whatever he's been in the league for. I don't want to be around.
Hopefully he finally has his ring.
Yeah. Hopefully he's got his ring. He's like, you know what? I don't really want to be here for this kind of like half rebuild, half, success kind of phase thing. I'm just going to walk away, and maybe he retires. I mean, who really knows? But we'll see when we get there. At least it gives the 49ers the flexibility to walk away if they feel that they need to do so.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's the best of both worlds, really. Like I was saying, the fact that it's not new money, I was really hoping that would be the case. Like I when I spatballed my idea that I'm not going to put up here because it was way wrong, I forgot that this was basic. At first I thought it was going to be like a new contract, and I was like, oh no, you idiot! This is going to be like a Christian McCaffrey. Like they're going to tack on like 2 years, and it'll be a brand new 5-year deal. What they did was completely throw out the original 3 years that were remaining, and then just resubmitted it with almost 50 million guaranteed. And then his salary technically didn't get raised for next year, but they were like, here's $7 million for this year. Are you happy?
Yeah.
And John is just an awesome negotiator. Yeah, it takes a long time, but he does it both ways. He plays hardball with people that want to do a trade. He plays hardball with our own players up for big extensions, and he puts the team first and still finds a way to make the player happy. Like it's really incredible that, I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of luck, especially if you look at his draft, but in terms of playing with money, he is phenomenal at it. He's not afraid to let a guy walk like Omenahue when he walked, or Ebukam when he walked. He even made Kyle Juszczyk take a pay cut. Like I don't know. He loves the players like Jerry Jones says he loves his Cowboys, but he is so much better when you look at the end results, even though it takes a while. Look at his results. They're awesome. He gets it done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm tired of the John Lynch hate.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, it is obviously frustrating as a fan to sit and stew and worry about your favorite player and wonder, why it's taking so long to get a deal done. Why can't we just get something done? It was really, really frustrating to see Aiyuk sit there for months on end, and then see receiver after receiver after receiver after receiver after receiver after receiver sign, and the price tag seemingly just go up and up and up and up, and it was just like, what are we doing? We should have signed the guy, 3 months ago. The price tag has gone from 26 million a year to 30 million a year to, I mean, it was just, and the guarantees.
Did you see Brandon admit, yeah, I made it a little too difficult in the end?
Oh, no.
Oh, if I didn't save it. I should have sent it in the group chat though. But no, a bunch of players participated in a press conference today, including Trent and John Lynch. And Brandon straight up said, "Yeah, I made it a little too difficult in the end. Like it's my fault. I didn't sign the contract earlier."
Well, I mean, good on him for owning up to it. But
yeah, you just some humility.
Yeah. But I mean, you just get frustrated as a fan, kind of watching that happen, and you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, like." We're just spiraling out of control, because if he could have signed him 3 months ago, we'd have saved, $5, $6, $7 million a year, on this guy. And why didn't we get it done? And, it just doesn't work that way sometimes. And, your point is valid. John really does stick to what he thinks is right for the team and what he believes is best for the team. And they have their cap philosophy that they are very married to, and they
there, if you can read that. I'm not gonna lie, I made it a little more difficult than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Sorry. I finally found that.
Yeah. But they definitely have their cap philosophy that they're sticking to, and they don't waver from it. And it so far has worked well for the team, because it's allowed us to keep this core together for since 2019, basically. I mean, we've more or less had the same team since 2019, and been able to add in various pieces to that puzzle since then, and really good pieces too. I mean, we picked up Trent, we picked up Christian, we drafted Aiyuk. I mean, we've picked up Ward. You know, I mean, we've done a lot. We picked up Hargrave. I mean, we've
Leonard
not
Floyd
only
this year.
yeah, I mean, we've not only kept our core intact. I mean, we went out and picked up Chase Young last year, even though that didn't work out, but it was a big splash move to try to make something happen. So, I mean, not only have we kept our core and the core people that really make the team hum, but we've still been able to reach out in free agency and pick and grab and try to snag pieces and parts to help fit and you know, bump things up and make things better as well. So, I mean, what they're doing is working. Now let's not overlook the fact that John has been negotiating from a position of, I don't know that it's necessarily power is the right way to put it, but at least you know, a good position, right? I mean, when you're a team that's had the success that the 49ers have had over the last 3-4 years, 5 years, whatever it's been, and the franchise has a good history as well, but even just since, you know, 2019, the success that we've had, it does make it a little bit easier to negotiate with players because they want to come play for you, right? I mean, the 49ers organization has shown that they do take care of their players, that they're a good quality organization. They get graded out well on all the measurables in terms of coaching staff and player amenities and things like that. And, you know,
Yeah, we got graded
California,
very well on that NFLPA thing. We got pretty good grades on that.
yeah, and I mean, California, for the rap that it gets sometimes and the high taxes that it does have, I mean, California is a pretty sweet state to live in. So I
If you can
mean,
afford it.
yeah. Well, I mean, these guys can afford it. So I
Yeah.
mean,
For real.
yeah. So I mean, you know, there's a lot of things going in his favor these last 4 or 5 years that do help him a bit with negotiations. I mean, if we were not so great, we weren't on this upper tier, maybe Aiyuk doesn't come back because he sees other opportunities at other teams and decides that he wants to go play for somebody else. Maybe the divide between us, maybe if the divide between us and the Steelers isn't as big, maybe he really does go play for Mike Tomlin, who he apparently really, really, really likes and has a really good rapport with, right? You know, if we're middling
Can't blame
around
him. He is a great coach.
right. Yeah. But I mean, if we're sitting here and we're middling around 500, just like, you know, the Steelers are, and the Steelers have made him this offer, you know, maybe he's like, yeah, you know, I do want to do that. I do want to go play for the Steelers. So, but the fact that we've had this success, the fact that we're poised to make another Super Bowl run in theory, you know, I think that over the last 3-4 years, that's really given John a lot of additional negotiating power, a lot of additional weight that he can kind of throw behind these things, because he can just use that as an additional poker chip to say, well, yeah, maybe our offer isn't as good as somebody else's, but are you going to win if you go there? You know, whereas if you're here,
Yeah.
we're going to win, you know? And I think that speaks to a lot of players.
Yeah, no, it does. That more than anything, because John is the lead in the negotiating. But just sitting here thinking about it, like just looking at Sports Track while we've been talking too. I don't remember if I've ever, or if I haven't mentioned it in a while. Do you remember how a signing bonus gets like authorized? Like it's the owner. So
Yeah.
Jed York, his willingness to say, yeah, I got, what was it? Let's just use Debo today. Yeah, I got 12 million on hand. We can just give Debo 12 million today, and then you got that much more cap space. And then Trent Williams today too. Oh yeah, I got 23.5 million on hand. We'll just give him a $20 million signing bonus. Like
Yeah.
the owner has to be willing to do that, because not every team is willing to do signing bonuses as willy-nilly as we do. Like that and the double option structure, like Jed York has to sign off on all those too, like because it's the money. But it all comes together. What you were saying, the reputation and the standing that we have, the chances to get to the Super Bowl, and then John has this unique position of being a former player and a Hall of Fame former player, no less.
Yeah.
It all, and then Jed York is like, just tell me the signing bonus and I'll sign it, apparently. So it all comes together. It all comes together in a really beautiful way. But while at the same time, like, he'll be honest with like Samson Ebukam, yo, if you're gonna get a $25 million contract from the Colts, I can't give you a $25 million contract. Thanks for your
Yeah.
time. He'll let you
Yeah.
go if you're not one of those superstars. But if you're a superstar, look at how far he will bend over to try and get you money, dude. It might not be top tier money. I mean, Brock's probably gonna get top tier money, but you're gonna be in the top 5. You're still gonna make buco money. Like,
Yeah.
he will make it work.
Yeah, I didn't think
It's
about
just
that. I
insane.
forgot it. I forgot about that concept that you mentioned with the signing bonus money. That's actually like real money that like happens like right now. So yeah,
For
like
cap purpose, you're allowed to spread it out for cap purposes, but
yeah.
in
In
terms of the
reality,
actual
it just happens
payout,
now. Yeah. So like
yeah, Trent made $25 million today.
yeah, Jed seriously wrote like $40 million in checks today.
Oh, and then at
Like,
Brandon's signing bonus too, he wrote $60 million in less than a week.
yeah. And I'm supposed to believe the NFL owners don't make any money. Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah, the owners
Sure.
all have that money on hand. It's their willingness to like, okay, sure, we'll just sign it now. We'll figure out how to squeeze in the cap calendar. Like, so no,
Yeah.
Jed realizing like, yeah, this is a special opportunity. If we need to convert this into signing bonuses, just tell me what check to write. That's a really, really good owner. It could be a really
Yeah.
careless owner, but for us, luckily, it's a really good owner.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he just spent 60 million to basically say go win a Super Bowl. So
Oh, and he
that's
gave
what that's
Christian a signing bonus a couple months ago too. Like,
yeah. I mean, you're just writing. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I guess that'll send me off on a whole tangent onto like how much money does an NFL team actually like generate in revenue on a weekly basis, right? Like how much of a check,
oh,
like if I'm an
if
owner, like how much
if
money
we
do I
only had a
actually
luxury tax,
get?
we for real would be up there with the Cowboys in like luxury tax. Bleh.
Yeah. But like if I'm an owner, like what does the NFL drop on me for a check every week or every month, right? Like I get my gate, right? So I get because the Niners own Levi's, so I get
Yeah.
all of that. We're not leasing that from anybody. So I'm getting all of that gate. So Levi's holds like 70,000 people. So I mean, that's
At like
th-
200 a pop in the upper section, and then like 1,000 a pop in the lower section.
yeah, I mean, so you could math that out. I mean, that's got to
Oh,
make 20 million in a weekend, right? On a game day, it's got to make 20 million, right?
oh, God, that's so much money.
And then what? And then
I'm
what?
that gif of just like washing with $100 bills. Just,
And then whatever your cut is of the weekly TV rights that you get, which has to be an astronomical amount of money.
oh. The CBA that just got signed, yeah, it's
Yeah,
a pretty astounding amount of money.
yeah. So I mean, you get your weekly cut. I don't know. It's monopoly money.
That's why
Well,
260. That's why 260 million for the cap is just laughable.
yeah, yeah. Well, the
That
Powerball is up to like 681 million. So when I win that, I'll let you know what it's like to be an NFL owner.
God, yeah, well, remember what not Con. Remember what Dan Snyder got, $4 billion to go away. four
Right. And
billion dollars. Was
yeah,
it
and
4 or was it higher?
no, well, it was like 4.2 or some shit like that. But I mean, and
Oh,
to your
okay.
point, like exactly that. So I mean, like some other rich, crazy person had $4 billion laying around. Well, or financed it, obviously. You know, they borrowed it against their pile of stocks or whatever. But they were
It's
willing
him
to,
and like 8 minority owners, I think, technically, but
yeah.
still.
But still, they were willing to spend 4 billion with a B dollars to own a franchise because they know that they're still going to make money on that investment.
Yep.
How often can you say that you're going to spend $4 billion on something and you're like, oh, psh, no big deal. I'm easily going to recoup all of that money. I mean, that's insane.
Well, remember when Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, it was in the like low 8-digit millions, and now it's the most expensive franchise. Like, I think maybe it's past 5 billion now, probably. Just yeah, you got you got your money back and then some.
Yeah, but I mean, just the fact, I mean, it's just these guys make money hand over fist, and that doesn't even include the money that they make doing whatever it is that they did to get rich in the first place. So I mean, it's not like once Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, he stopped doing whatever it was that he did that made him rich originally. He still was drilling for oil or whatever the heck it is that he does. So I mean, he was still making money hand over fist that way. He just had another avenue for making crazy amounts of money. So I mean, it's the amount of money that the NFL draws is insanity, and really the NBA is probably second in that regard in terms of values for teams, because the NBA is just shooting up in popularity, and it continues to exceed and excel. And I think the next time you see an NBA franchise come up for sale, it's going to go for big time money as well, especially if it's one of those marquee franchises that comes up.
Oh, dude, for sure. Like, well, I don't know. I am not knowledgeable enough to speak on the Maverick situation, but I did see Mark Cuban's not the majority owner anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
I think he's. I'm not knowledgeable enough to speak on that, but I felt like not this. I don't know. I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Aren't the Seahawks due to be up for sale soon? Now you say that.
I don't remember, but to your point, Mark Cuban sold the Mavericks for a price in excess of $4 billion.
Oh, good Lord. That wasn't even, he's still a minority owner too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is, my God. I'm seeing what our time is. I still have this up here.
And Mark Cuban bought the Mavericks for $285 million in 2000. So in 24 years, he generated basically a $3.5 billion return.
Wow. Here we go.
I mean,
this is what that's absurd.
I mean, you can't do any better than that.
God.
And the Mavericks aren't even a marquee franchise in the NBA. They're a tier 2 franchise. They're a good franchise, but I mean, they're a tier 2 franchise. So I mean, like, imagine if for some reason, I know we're completely off on a weird tangent now, but I mean, imagine if like the Lakers went up for sale, or the Celtics or the Knicks went up for sale. I mean, it would be astronomical what those franchises would pull in.
That's just stupid. That's
just
stupid. How much money that is?
Yeah, is this Burrow?
Yeah, you mentioned Burrow. I figured this would be a fun way to tie this up. Had a tendency of doing double option bonuses.
Yeah.
And then his signing bonus is only spaced out because it's not. What's his signing bonus? His signing bonus wasn't actually that high. Signing bonus 40. Of 55. Signing bonus of 55.
Oh, okay.
So his signing bonus didn't get spaced out into the last 2 years, but his option bonus, that's how it's spaced out cap wise. His option must have kicked in this year because it's not on that year, which presumably it wouldn't have been in 22. But yeah, he's got this could very realistically next year, unless they convert. Oh God, they gotta maybe convert some of his base salary into a signing bonus to get that cap down, because that's gonna be big for next year. But barely, not even quite $30 million for this year. That's not too bad. And hell, maybe they'll have him play on 46 if the cap goes up. Like, it's not going to go up 30 million like it did this year, but he could play on 46.
Yeah, again, to our point where we were talking about Aiyuk and whether he was ever going to see $40-some million or not. I mean, like, realistically,
the quarterback versus a wide receiver, though.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, realistically, to our point, $46 million a year for a quarterback, not really that unrealistic as a salary. So he might actually see that. Like that might actually be a thing. I mean, I would suppose that if they're going to try to sign Jamar Chase, they would probably do like you said and take some of his salary and convert it to a bonus so that they could bring his cap down. But you know, I mean, who knows? They're the Bengals. I don't know what they're going to do.
We'll take a look at how Trevor's goes, and then we'll sign off after this. But yeah, look at Trevor's 15, 17, 24, 35. He's not a problem for the next 4 years. It's this 5th year in 2028 when he starts actually becoming like a cap question, not question mark, but they got 4 years of paying him less than $40 million against the cap.
Yeah.
And his option bonus, his signing bonus, like it's only spacing out into 2 cap years and 31 and 2. Like this is a pretty team friendly contract for how big the number is. I think I scrolled too far. Yeah, for $275 million contract, they spaced this out pretty well to be team friendly.
I mean, I would bet unless he sucks, he'll probably see that 47 million in 2028 because with the way that the cap goes up and the way that quarterback salaries are going to continue to escalate by the time that we get to 2028, I mean, that's literally that's what, 4 more, that's 5 more seasons away. 47 million for a quarterback in 5 more seasons is going to be nothing. So, I mean, I won't be at all surprised if he plays on that. Now he'll never ever see 78 million or 74 million, but that's fine.
If he's just average, like not so bad that they consider eating 88 million in dead cap, but if he's just average and they just keep hanging on and hanging on and hanging on and hanging on, they could only eat $7.5 million if they cut him in 28 and don't have to wait for this no dead cap opt-out year in 29. This is a very team-friendly $250 million contract.
Yep. Yes, it is.
That came to mind because I remember I just vaguely remembered skimming through that when he signed it, and I thought, wow, he's got 4 years under $40 million. Like that's kind of amazing for how big that contract is.
Yeah, and that's why we spent a lot of time when we were talking about Brandon's contract, talking about, the total contract and the AAV and how all of that just really, it sounds cute in the media and the guys like it for their ego and they want to have Brandon clearly wanted the $30 million a year number and, all of that stuff, and it makes them sound good and it looks good on paper and all that stuff. It doesn't mean anything. Because all that matters
compared to the
that,
guarantees. No.
Yeah. All that matters is that guaranteed money, because as you can see with that Trevor Lawrence contract, I don't give a crap that he has $150 million due to him in 2028 and 2029. He ain't ever seeing that money. It's never going to get there. He's never going to ever get that money.
He will not play on a $70 million cap hit in 29.
No chance. No chance.
That is what David Lombardi calls funny money.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, whatever his, contract says it is 200 million or 255 million or whatever, wash out 150 million of that because it's all just irrelevant.
Yeah, no, exactly. But we have come to the conclusion, at least my clock is telling me I need to go, but
your stomach is telling you that you need to go.
Yes. But no, this has been fun to take a look. You have fulfilled my wish to get numbers nerdy with you. That's what I was really looking forward to that. No disrespect to Ricky. We obviously needed to talk about that too, but I love talking nerdy numbers with you and I just love digging through the contracts. But now we have to talk about our sponsor and a different kind of money, a little bit of a discount with our promo code from our sponsor, Royal Retros. What is Royal Retros? It is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, any of the major sports. They got you covered. And go ahead and go on there and check out the Candlestick collection because it's been curated with the Bay Area in mind. And when you find something that you like, use the promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your entire order. Again, it is promo code Shady Sports at royalretros.com to get 10% off of your entire order. go visit royalretros.com today and use that promo code Shady Sports, 10% off of your entire order. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. And now our charity. It's been going on a little over a year, maybe a year and a half now, but we were disgusted by certain acts that were done by owners in the NFL. Dan Snyder being the origin of this, and now there's David Tepper and Jed York did something that we didn't really like, and then there was the minority owner of the Houston Texans that really got off easy for what he was accused of doing. So, in being inspired by that, we decided to create this hashtag that you see below us, owner standards over player standards, hashtag owner accountability, because we think that owners need to be held to the same standard as the players do, if not more. And to put our money where our mouth is, we are selling t-shirts on bonfire.com. The first of these shirts, if my mouse will work, there we go. This is kind of our basic owner standards over player standard shirt. Comes in the most variety of colors. All of our shirts come in various different hoodie, short sleeve, long sleeve, crew neck, all different sizes. Pricing starting at $22.99 for all these shirts as well. And all the money is going to be going to Mountain Comprehensive Care in Kentucky. It is a wonderful crisis center in Kentucky, helping women who have experienced various forms of abuse, and they do a wonderful job. And all the proceeds of these shirts will be going to them, so we don't want any money from these shirts. But yeah, this is, like I said, our owner accountability shirt. Our next shirt is our cover art. When you're listening to us on any of the wonderful podcasting platforms that are out there, this is our cover art, and now you can rock it on a t-shirt. Again, pricing starting at $22.99. The alternate logo, I think this looks personally best in the red color, but you got blue and purple and off red, and this has the goalposts and the peanuts. Wonderful little shirt there. And then our last one is our other mascot, a peanut eating a bowl of peanuts, wearing a Niners hat and 3D glasses, because why not? Patiently waiting for 6 more days. I had to think for a sec. We are 6 days away from kickoff, and he is patiently waiting for us to play the Jets on Monday Night Football on ESPN. We got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman calling the game. We're going to talk a little bit about that on Friday. But before I get carried away with that, all those shirts I just showed you are on bonfire.com. The link to the shirts is in the show notes. And again, the money will go to Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. Anyway, Monday Night Football. We're literally 6 days away from Monday Night Football, and we're definitely going to be talking about that on our next episode on Friday. We're also going to be doing a very, very special parlay, and James will be back for that one. James's first, oh my gosh, I'm getting all my time mixed up. James has only been with us one time since his sabbatical, but he will be back on Friday for this very special parlay, and I'm so excited to have him back on mic again, since it is kind of now a treat when that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're getting, we're getting in the full swing of it now. In 2 days, the Ravens are going to the Chiefs, and then we're going to have our first Friday game with the Packers and the Eagles in Brazil. It's here, 72 hours away from kickoff, dude.
Yeah, I'm ready. So, I mean, I'm going to disgustingly watch the Thursday night football game because I hate the Chiefs, and as an Ohio fan who follows the Browns casually, I hate the Ravens. So I kind of just want the entire field to implode on Thursday night, but you know, that probably won't happen. So I'll watch the game and just enjoy the fact that football is back, and I may place a wager or two to excite myself about the game in some way, and just be ready for football. I did draft a number of Chiefs in fantasy football this season, so I'll have those guys on the field, and it'll give me something to watch and pay attention to. But yeah, I'm excited for football. I'm excited for the season. I'm just hopeful that the Niners are able to do what we all hope and want and wish that they're able to do this season, and follow through and make it to the promised land and finish it off this time. So we'll see. It all starts with game 1 here on Monday. So let's hope we can get it.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't have said it better myself. I will remind you all that Jets recap will be a day late because we usually tape on Mondays, but obviously that's when the game is. So that episode will be a little late, but this Friday, James is coming back. We got a very special parlay happening, and we will be previewing our home opener against the Jets on Monday Night Football. So, with that, that's all we got for you today. Our outro music is by Justin Muth. The song is River Road. We'll catch you all on Friday.
Later.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way